The glare is bad today. Anyway, guys, I want to cut in this video because sometimes I don't have time to do the elaborate videos. A lot of my videos have music and scenery and things like that. And if I'm traveling, it's hard for me to get 3 videos out a week. But the problem is if I'm not posting 3 videos out a week, the YouTube changes the algorithms and then I get like to the bottom. So I'm trying to do 3 videos a week. What you're seeing now, you're going to see coming up in the future. But I just want to talk a little bit about the fears, because if you haven't gone to my blog at simplyrving.com, I have a blog there. I'm talking about different things maybe that other people aren't talking about, and I'm talking about the fears. I wrote about one of my anxieties, and it did happen to me on this trip, and once I get to that, you'll see that video. But I want to talk about some anxieties, and you can go to the blog and follow along, because I'm going to be posting my anxieties every week. I'm going to be posting one of them. There's a lot of people, you see them on YouTube, and nobody talks about their fears. Nobody wants to look like they're fearful, and I think that's so wrong, because everybody has fear. I don't care if you're a big guy or a little guy. I don't care if you're a little girl or a big girl. At some point, when you first start RVing, you are going to have fear. You're gonna be fearful of driving this big rig, and you're gonna be worried about a lot of things, and that is so normal. And I want people to embrace the fact that it is normal to have fears. It's a good thing, because when you have fears, it makes you more cautious of what you're doing. You don't want to do things wrong, and it's okay to go back and check and recheck. One of the things that helped me a lot with my fear when I first started RVing, and this was way back, so this was before backup cameras and all of that, when I had my Class C, was I would get out of the Class C a lot. And when I was backing up, I was embarrassed that people at the campground was going to know that I was a newbie. But you know what? I didn't want to hit the Seward. I didn't want to hit the thing. And I knew that the only way was getting out. Granted, I had awesome mirrors in my Class C. So when you're looking for an RV, especially a Class C, make sure you have good mirrors, because that's so important if you're not going to have a backup camera. If you have a backup camera, it's great, but it's also great having huge big mirrors on the side. So that's very important. Make sure you get that, or try to get it fixed into your RV before you leave the sales table, because you might be able to work it out with the salesman when they can switch out your mirrors. But mirrors were a big thing. But what I would do is I'd get out a lot of times. If I had to get out 10 times, to get out and look at the spot, I have to go back a little bit this way. So I start doing that. I have to go this way. Remember, I had a kid with me, so Christian was still too small. As he got used to what had to be done, I showed him how to help me back up. But I didn't care. I got out 20 times, 30 times. I went around maybe a couple of times before I got into the spot. I'd check it out and see, should I go in through this angle, or what about this angle, or that. So don't be scared if you have to do that. We all go through it. We're all newbies at some point. And people are generally really nice at RV parks, where they'll help. They'll see that you look like a newbie or you're a little confused. They'll come and offer help for you. A lot of people are really helpful, and that's the best kind of help you can get, is when people come and help you, because sometimes they'll give you tips that you might not know about. I was always bad at backing up my travel trailer. That's one of the things that I hated about owning a travel trailer. I just couldn't balance them well enough, especially if the site was not leveled. So you do have to practice a lot with that. Don't think it's very easy, because if you're going to go to a lot of these camping sites and RV parks out west, a lot of them are not leveled, and you have to learn to back into a spot that might be a little bit raised in the back or a little bit lower, and it's a little bit more difficult. It presents itself a challenge. You should go out and practice in several different scenarios, like gravel. You should try to do all those kinds of things before you get out on the road. You should be practicing a lot every weekend before you go full-time. You should be practicing and traveling and doing your best. It helps also when you have a walkie-talkie. Definitely. I mean, you can use your cell phone too. A lot of people are watching YouTube videos because they have these fears, and they want to, like, okay, how do I do this and how do I do that? Research, 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 and always look for the best way to do things. Pat yourself in the back when you do something right. When you did something right, make sure that you just don't pass that by. Make a conscious decision to say, this time I parked it good like this because I did this. Don't just park and keep going. You know, remind yourself at some time of the day what it was so great about how you parked. What did you do that made it get in there so perfect? And try to keep a record of that so that next time you do the same thing. And the next time you do the same thing, this is how you start losing your fears, because you're like, oh, my RV is 26 feet. If I turn the wheel a little bit this way, that gets it this way, and that's perfect. Once you know your rig and you know how to do it and you figure it out, you know, pat yourself in the back, because right there, when you keep doing it that way over and over again, you're going to lose your fears, because now you know exactly how to back it up. Also, that I might be fearful of. Sometimes I think of things like, oh, the cat might jump out, so I have my truck has a window lock where I can lock my window so my cat can't open the window. And I also have the harness now, so I solved that problem. So as you go and practice, especially with your animals or with your kids or with your family, you're going to start to learn that, oh, there's a problem here. I need a harness for my dog, or I need to get a kennel for the cat. So that's what I'm saying about, you know, you start thinking about these things, but as you go through them, you start to find solutions to the problem. So your fears are unknown, but once you find solutions, and there's a lot of things that you just have to figure out. You can research, you can find. Right now, one of the things that I'm having a problem with, and I'll tell you what it is my air shocks. When were installed, I was never given an option of anything. I was just told, just install the air shocks. But as I travel, it's starting to get to be a real pain for me to get underneath and fill my air shocks. It's really bothersome, especially during rainy weather. The floor is wet, it's damp. Sometimes I have to get in there where there's sand, sometimes or gravel, and then I can use a mat, but then my mat gets all sandy and dirty, and that gets in the car. It's such a pain. So, and sometimes I don't get it done, but I know I have to get it done, and I'm driving around with my air shocks too low. So I said to myself, you know what, I have this fear now, but I realized I can get a valve extender to extend that valve from underneath to a port up higher, so that I don't have to be crouched down to do that. So those are options that I could look into to make my travels much more comfortable. Find solutions. Talk to your mechanic about solutions. When you're getting things installed, ask about things like that. It didn't occur to me to ask, but something like that where it's going to make me get underneath the truck, and you know, it just doesn't work when you're traveling, because you have, you know, rainy days, you can't really get underneath there. It's just so filthy and dirty. By that time, I'm already dressed, and I don't want to be dirty and sweaty in my clothes. I hope this helps you a little bit. It's just a little bit. I'm sure I'll have more in the future to talk about, but I'm just doing this video really quick so I don't have to edit a lot, and I can just post it and help some of you with some of your fears. Let me know your fears. I'm really anxious to know. I want to know if they're the same as mine. As I'm posting my blog, I'll also be talking about a lot of the things that you're talking about, and maybe give you some solutions to some of those. Those could have been some of the things that I dealt with. I've been RVing since 2012, and we're in 2019, and I've had a Class C, I've had a travel trailer, and I have my truck camper. So I've already had 3 rigs, and I've had fears for every single one of them. I've had fears for backing up the Class C because it was so long. I had fears about backing up the travel trailer. I've had fears about hitching the travel trailer. Did I do the weight distribution right? Did I hook it up correctly? You know, all those things are things I've had to work out. And then of course the truck camper, I'm still working on that, because I don't take it off a lot, and when I do take it off, it does give me some anxiety. Nothing major. Like, I'm not like, I don't need to be medicated or anything like some people maybe you do, but I'm okay with it. And now that I've done it so many times before, I know I'm going to be okay. I just need to take my time. So always, this is why I say practice when you have time to practice, because you don't want to be on the road and it's 11 o'clock and you have to leave an RV park and you're hitching your trailer and now you're nervous, plus you have anxiety because you're not sure about a lot of things, or you're not too sure about what you're doing. So this is why I say practice always helps. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please visit my website or leave a comment below and tell me some of the things that you're fearful about. If it's hitching your trailer, if it's filling up your propane tank. That's another one that I had an issue with, but we'll talk about that in my blog in another time. But just let me know any little thing that you could have. And you're a guy, you know what? Tell me too, because I know that you guys, you know, I don't want to say like fear is it's not like fear, or it's like anxiety, or maybe worry is more for you guys. The word for women, maybe it's more fear, but for guys it's more the word worry. You worry about little things like that, if you're going to do this right or do that. So let me know what are the things that you worry about in RVing that you might be doing wrong or doing right. All right guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up.